Hi guys, I'm here today to have a quick rant about Qigong and about how Qigong can help you re-infuse mind, body and spirit back together. I'm going to get into a little bit of Chinese theory about why this is so and discuss some of the relative concepts. So, you know when you're in a meditation class and the meditation teacher says, okay, focus on your breath. So in Qigong, whilst we do focus on our breath, and that is an important part, we actually work towards infusing the breath with movement. So one of the catchphrases I tend to use in my Qigong classes is focus on the very edge of movement. Now there's a reason I do that. So when you rest your mind on the breath, yes, the breath is in the present moment, agreed. But when you begin to infuse breath with movement, the breath is on the edge of movement. And so when you rest your mind on the edge of movement, you're also resting your mind not only on the breath, but you're resting your mind also on movement, fusing both breath and movement and the mind all resting together in that one spot. Okay, now that's one of the reasons we move slow. Now there's lots of reasons that we do move a little bit slower in Qigong, which I can't get into here and now because they're too in depth. But part of the idea of moving slow is so you can literally feel right onto the edge of movement. And when you're doing that, your mind is resting into the exact spot that you are at that very present moment. It has a very powerful anchoring of the mind, has a very powerful effect on grounding, and as well as what you're doing with your attention, bringing that massive amount of somatic healing as you begin to peel yourself back like an onion, getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the layers of your being. So let me explain a little bit of the Chinese medicine about this. So I've drawn a quick candle here. Well, I've drawn the wax of the candle so far. And the wax here represents a concept in Chinese medicine called Jing. Now, Jing is quite a dense substance in some ways, and even though it's more than this, you can think about it as like your DNA, okay? And so our DNA is infused through all the cells of our body in a very homogeneous way. And the Chinese would suggest that when this Jing is gone and this DNA is no longer able to reproduce itself, that of course we pass on to the next life. Now, that's why it represents the wax in the candle, because once this wax burns out, candle's gone, right? The next is, I'll draw the wick, because I'm OCD like that. See? We have the Qi. And the Qi is the flame of the candle. Okay, the Qi is the physical biochemical reality of our body. It does the work for us. And so this flame is the Qi of our body. And then we get the radiance, the light coming off the Qi. And that is what we call Shen, or spirit, or consciousness. Now, as a Chinese medical practitioner, we quite often talk about Shen in a variety of ways, but in one of the ways we talk about Shen is that Shen is the luminance that comes off a person. And you can see someone's Shen. They either have a vibrant, calm Shen, or maybe they look ruddy and a bit dirty and they're a bit deficient, right? So an acupuncturist will look at that about to gauge the state of someone's Shen, okay? So this is the concept, and in Qigong we're really trying to build these three substances. In fact, the whole concept of Qigong is to basically build the Jing to extend our life, to build up a greater amount of Qi so we have more resilience, more power, more strength, and lastly to build our Shen so we have more of a spiritual connection, more intelligence and more sophistication about ourselves. So this process is really enveloped into the idea of Qigong. It comes from the basis of Taoist philosophy and Chinese medicine. Now, I'm just going to rub this out, so excuse me for a moment. So, this Jing Qi Shen concept also goes into the makeup of a meridian, so the energy lines in our body. And whilst this is not completely accurate in reality, it helps to explain. So, let's pretend for a moment that we have a meridian going on here. Okay, and down the middle, this middle tube down the middle is the dense Jing. Because it's dense, it sits in the middle of a meridian, okay? Then around the outside of that, I'll just colour this in a little bit, I think. So we've got our Jing. Around the outside of the Jing forms our Qi. And so the Qi around the outside of the meridian is this stuff, the biochemical reality of the human body. And radiating out from the center all the way out through our Qi is the luminance, the radiance of our Shen radiating out. So, when we're moving slowly in our Qigong and resting our mind, resting our Shen, resting our consciousness right on the edge of movement, we're actually resting our mind right on the edge of the meridian system and getting ourselves to feel right into that edge so all these aspects can begin to homogeneously infuse within us. And we can begin to build this process, building more Jing, so we've got more life, we've got more wax to burn, we've got more Qi, okay, so we've got more flame to do more work in our lives, and we've got a greater amount of Shen and luminance to spread and radiate ourselves and our being out into the world. So Qigong is working with this on a very intricate level. So one of the things we're doing in our Qigong is moving incredibly slowly with whole body functional movement where everything is moving at once. And so the mind actually gets to filter through the entire body. It gets moved through the entire being as we're doing our Qigong. Alrighty guys, so that is one of the reasons why we do move so slowly in Qigong. That is one of the ways that Qigong is building up our body and creating strength through softness. It's building up grounding and relaxedness through our body and building up a whole host of really functional aspects and philosophies that embed deeply into our tissue structures and become ingrained in the fibre of our being. So guys, thank you very much for this quick moment. I'll try and do a couple of extra tips like this. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're in good health. Thank you.